Welcome to this webinar on Google Maps for Business. This is Praveen here from Sears. We are a Google Maps partner for India. And webinar on Google Maps for Business. This is Praveen here from Sears. We are a Google Maps partner for India. And webinar on Google Maps for Business. This is Praveen here from Sears. We are a Google Maps partner for India. With me, I also have Jake Hirakawa. Jake is the channel manager for Google Maps for all of JPAC, APAC including Japan. So he's also going to be helping me through the webinar. He's going to present some of the pieces to showcase to all of you how Google Maps is used by different businesses. Without ado, we'll get started. We just wanted to give 5 minutes to people who are just joining it a little later. Seems like we have a pretty much expected full house. We will go ahead and get started. The agenda for today is a quick introduction on CS and Google Maps for Business, how it works. We will also walk you guys through Google Maps use cases by industry. We have put together use cases for some of the top industries in terms of what are the most common use cases for these industries. Sears has also helped a couple of companies customize applications on top of Google Maps. So we have built a couple of intellectual property products, and we will spend some time doing a quick demo of what are some of the things that anybody can do with Google Maps, but also walk you through some of those IP applications that we have built on top of Google Maps. And we will close out with a quick case study about some of the recent deployments that we have done. And we will, of course, open it up for any Q&A, and we'll spend a considerable amount of time to answer any queries that you guys might have. Quickly about Sears, we are beyond cloud consulting company. We help businesses futurify. Our core business is focused around helping businesses be ready for the future and not get disrupted by these new entrants who come with riding on back of latest technologies, which are much faster, better, and of course cheaper. So cost of getting started is much lesser, and people can come up with a super bright idea and disrupt traditional businesses. So we help businesses to be future ready by leveraging cloud analytics and automation. So that is what we do. We are also Google Cloud Premier Partner globally across APAC, US, and Europe. Have been around for 12 plus years. We have about 650 people working for all of these things for close to about 1,200 customers. And we believe in an outcome-based business model. So we don't just want to charge people for projects, but we want to partner with customers and help them achieve whatever desired business outcome is, plan out the steps required, and we are okay to get paid partially basis us helping the company achieve their desired business outcomes. We've also been extensively recognized in the industry. There are some awards at the bottom. Apart from being a Google Cloud Premier Partner, we've also been ranked as one of the fastest growing companies. We have also been recognized across multiple publications. The work that we do specifically, so I just want to quickly pause and let you guys know that you can ask questions at any point in time, but we will address those once we finish the presentation. There is a link that you can see at the top of the slide. This is the link that you can click and ask your questions, and we will collate all the questions and then try and answer as much as we can at the end of this presentation. So quickly going on to the three areas that we help customers with, which is cloud analytics and automation. In cloud, for most of the new age digital companies, the largest amount of spend that they have is around data, because everybody is collecting so much data, to be able to run high-end analytics on top of it, draw business inferences, and of course to make the right decisions to improve revenue and increase profitability. That data deluge requires people to spend a substantial amount of their operating expense on storing this data and managing the data. And for companies which are very heavily dependent on data and collect a lot of data from different points of source, anywhere about 30 to 35% of their OPEX goes into just storing this data and managing this data. So our approach to that is, people can leverage cloud and very easily cut down that cost by 1/3, if not more. So what when we say cloud, what I'm talking about is just the cloud infrastructure. But cloud has three pieces to it, which is software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. So just the infrastructure piece can give you a substantial saving on your operational cost of data storage. But we also help companies with SaaS products. So our belief is that no business challenge today is unique to any company. If there is a problem that a company is facing today, somebody somewhere else in the world at some point in time has already faced that challenge, and they have already come up with a solution. And so it's just a matter of figuring out which company has built that solution, and if it's SaaS based, then identifying it and figuring out which of those SaaS products can be used to address your specific company challenges. And we help with customizing those applications. So maybe it doesn't fit your requirement 100%, but maybe 70, 80%, or maybe 50 or 60%, we can come in and customize the rest of that. So we provide cloud advisory services. One is how best to leverage cloud, either SaaS, PaaS, or infrastructure as a service for your business needs. We also do managed services for the infrastructure part. We can help architect your cloud. We can do migration onto the cloud. And we do the change management within the organization, either if you want to move to software as a service application instead of some of your homegrown customization, or building applications from scratch, or for moving your infrastructure to the cloud. Either for all of those, we can help you through consulting and also implementation and manage the change within your organizations. The other piece that we help with is analytics. We provide analytics as a service out of the box, but also we provide analytics advisory. What are the kind of analytics that can be helpful for driving the desired business results? What data to collect, from how to build models on top of it, how best to cleanse and enrich that data to make it ready for running analytic models on top of it, and all the data work that requires basic and advanced data management to cleanse, standardize that data, and make it usable and ready for running analytics models. And the third is automation. For quite a bit of, and this automation is robotic process automation, not the industrial automation. But for a lot of companies who do repetitive processes, we can automate that work no matter how complex or how lengthy that process is, as long as it is repetitive and rules based. So this can be coded, and we can run robotic process automation on these processes and cut down cost upwards of about 20 to 25% fairly easily. We have tie-ups with some of the leading RPA vendors like Blue Prism or Automation Anywhere or UiPath that we leverage and help harness the benefits of that for most of our customers. So that is what we do. How we do it is using the middle layer, which is all of the Google layer, and the bottom layer, which is the software as a service applications with which we have partnerships with. Our approach is to first come in and lay out a process map of everything that you do within your company, create all the process steps, and so basically processify everything, identify what are the areas that can be quickly fixed with even small changes or re-engineering even on some bits and pieces. So identify low-hanging fruits, run basic Six Sigma projects on it to identify waste, and then try and improve those processes. The second is to do SaaSification, which is if you have identified there are substantial improvement areas for you, instead of custom building it, as I mentioned previously, you just identify what is a SaaS product that already exists which addresses this, and help implement it within your company with whatever minor customizations required, and then move the infrastructure to the cloud to reduce your cost substantially. And the last step is to manage the process end to end and figure out what kind of innovations that can be brought into the end to end process, which is the Innovify stage. So either we provide all of this to certain companies, but a few of the companies might just choose one of these and say, hey, we just need your help with moving our infrastructure to the cloud, or we just want you to implement analytics on our platform, not change the platform, or for that matter, just help us identify what are some of the SaaS products that can do these things that we want to do, because we don't want to custom build our applications. So we do all of this on top of the Google platform. We are partners with Google on all of these applications that Google Cloud provides. So be it the Google Cloud platform or the Google Suite platform, which is the productivity suite. Also on Maps and machine learning, and of course Chrome and Android. These are the places, these are the platforms that we leverage to deliver the services around Processify, SaaSify, Cloudify, and Innovify. We also have tie-ups with other vendors for which we resell, customize, and deploy SaaS products, be it Facebook Workplace or Happier Work, which is our end-to-end HR suite, right from sourcing dates to managing the hiring process, to onboarding process, to training, to managing employee life cycle while they are within the organization, including org charts, including their leave and appraisals and payments, all of these things, and managing the entire employee workflow while they are within the company. Invoice is an accounting software. Freshdesk, quite a few of the people would know, is an help desk ticketing software. Okta is a security software that we provide. ProcessWorks is a SaaS product for sales productivity. It is a replacement for Salesforce.com, and it plugs in directly into Gmail. So your sales guys don't have to type in notes. The email content from your Gmail automatically becomes notes for when you create new leads or accounts within ProcessWorks. And Smartsheet is just a smarter way of using sheets, which are from Google's Sheets, and adding on top of it complex project management that can be done on top of the G Suite Sheets. So these are the products that we leverage. We are going to spend quite a bit of time just talking about Maps, but post this presentation, if anybody has any questions or wants more information about any of these products, feel free to shoot us an email. We will be more than happy to engage with you. So that's a bit about Sears. So now moving on to Google Maps for Business, I'm going to hand it over to Jake, who is the channel manager for JPAC, who is going to walk us through the next set of slides.
Thank you, Praveen. Thank you, Praveen. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jake Hirakawa, and I'm in charge of Google Maps channel business for APAC. I see a huge opportunity for location-related business here in the region. I will explain why in the next couple of minutes. Today, I'm going to talk about Google Maps APIs, and you will learn why location is important and how Google Maps APIs can bring value to you and your customer's business with location. Okay, 11 years ago, we started a service called Google Maps, and it has enabled new services and brought great capability to explore the world. Our goal has always been to provide the best maps and imageries, but it's time to go beyond the maps. You can visualize things on maps, then you can solve your problems or issues, challenge. You see, Google Maps, in terms of the numbers, Google Maps has billion daily active users and over 2 million applications and websites now use Google Maps and our location technologies. We can graph the evolution of location through these 5 waves. At their down, maps were static and they were stated that way for hundreds of years. 20 years ago, they became digitized. Today, they are dynamic and things like, and we are seeing the move from dynamic to intelligent happening within the next half decade, give or take. So the shift to wave 5 is likely to happen much more quickly than the previous transitions. Right now, many industries are poised at the threshold of wave 4, which is intelligent, and that means your customers are poised to benefit from relevant, rich, and personal experiences, the likes of which we all expect, but today rarely experience, many of which are powered by the growth in connected location devices. Beyond wave 4, okay, I need to mute my speaker. Okay, is it better? Cool. Okay, so beyond wave 4 into wave 5, machine learning takes these connected devices and their location intelligence, offering predictive and assistive value that we are already starting to see signs of in the consumer world, with ubiquitous adoption likely to close much faster than the previous waves. Now, it's true that today there are some consumer experiences that embody all 3, but the execution of inconsistent. In enterprise, the execution is even more variable. Let's call them good enough experiences. One of whose primary characteristics is that the location component is tied to a map. But imagine a world where location can go beyond the map. It's super exciting to consider how the combination of movement, location, and intelligence could change the game very quickly for a lot of industries. You're already seeing disruption in sectors such as ride-sharing, transportation logistics, and retail. Soon, those industries will broaden into spaces and make an even greater impact on consumers and enterprise alike. They are going to open up new opportunities for companies who are already creating strategies around location today. And they are also going to overtake and good enough experiences we talked about earlier. That's why it's the perfect time to start thinking about your own location journey and your own location strategy today. We are working with all of our partners, including Sears, to solve for wave 5, putting our weight behind smart investments that can help us all realize the full potential of location computing, build up Google's machine learning strength. We are committed to helping you find those answers too. You see, the exciting things is location is becoming much more than a place on the map. It's force multiplier in the connected mobile world. It amplifies what's great about your offering and elevates it to a place where it has much greater disruptive potential. Location intelligence can offer you contextual solutions based on your proximity to another user, a place, a service, and so forth. These new solutions could contain multi-dimensional, location-based insights and data, all delivered in real time, and could contain information about the unique user location and surroundings. As we begin to consider all the potential that location offers, there is a real opportunity to close the executional gap between consumer and enterprise. That's imperative for us, especially because of the convergence between consumer and enterprise development. 10 years ago, when digital maps were relatively new, it was a different story. It used to be the case that you develop for consumer and enterprise separately, but now we see a very real opportunity for consumer and enterprise to innovate in parallel. And as those processes continue to dovetail, we expect to see faster innovation with the line between the consumer and enterprise experience blurring. Let's discuss a little bit about 4 use cases for maps trend, location trends. The first one is visualization. The opportunity for the enterprise all starts by building of the core strengths of Google Maps today. Our base maps and imagery, our directions and distance data, and the ability to find people, places, and things more accurately and more quickly across a multitude of platforms. Store locators or store finders or external use cases are really examples of visualization. This core strength in visualization is now opening up richer and more meaningful location-based use cases. That's location services. With the number of connected devices forecast to reach 40 billion by the year of 2020, the static physical real world has already been embedded with intelligence. The opportunity now is to leverage the movement around these static things, including devices that are connected. For example, TVs, thermostats, cars, phone booth, and so on. So we are making it easier for developers and organizations to harness the power of our mapping and location services to better understand the world around us. Let me reload my slide. Okay, anyway. Okay, the next one is location intelligence. The location intelligence seeks to address the growing need to better understand the daily changes in our physical world through rich imagery and semantic location. One of the most exciting uses is around de-risking capital-intensive decisions. For example, if you are an oil and gas producer and you need to commission a new well, you are potentially making a billion-dollar decision. You are going to need a total understanding of the prospective site environment, past, present, and future, as well as access to continually updated real-time imagery so that you can manage the site properly, architect the site defensively in case there are seasonal weather issues, something like that. To deliver that, we use advanced machine learning and computing power to combine real-time and historical location data in order to surface compelling insights, combining inputs on a scale that ranges from indoor beacons to orbital satellites, so that you have the highest level of situational awareness. That's location intelligence. The last one is movement optimization. This area, the last area where location-based disruption will occur in what we call movement optimization. Think of it as the next evolution of navigation, where we are optimizing the movement of not only vehicles, but extending to people, assets, and other connected things. As we continue to innovate our platform and open up more and more services, developers and organizations that move, track, and monitor people and products from one place to another are able to build smarter and more accurate solutions. Whether, for example, whether it's applications that help you track assets, manage real-time movement, or leverage advanced routing algorithms. We are making it possible to extend the core Maps consumer experience to your applications and build quality, reliability, and depth of data into your product or service. Google Maps API are visual canvas for customer engagement, business planning, and productivity improvement, help customers and employees to find and manage resources, assets, and information. This is a full platform, our APIs. Google Maps APIs have lots of APIs. It's available for web, also mobile platforms such as Android and iOS, and web services as well. And these are some numbers from the bottom line. For example, 50% of the customers use Google Maps to boost consumer satisfaction, and 40% reported productivity increases, and 94% showed tangible business improvements. These are some global use cases for our Google Maps adoption across industries. For example, telecommunication, NTT Docomo here in Japan, they use Google Maps API for their cell tower and coverage management. Also BT and Traxel, and logistics and transport. Grab Taxi from Indonesia. Also Lyft and Uber, they use our technologies as well. Yeah, I think that's it for my slides. But I'd like to ask one really simple question. As location technology is getting easier to use and adapt, so maybe you can think about your location strategy. Maybe 10 years ago, when internet came up and people were asked, what is your internet and website strategy? Now it's time to ask, what is your location strategy? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you, Jake. Thanks a lot. This is Praveen back again. We will walk through the next set of presentation. What I'm going to share with you guys, I'm sure some of you have probably already used Google Maps, but there are quite a few people who probably have not, at least even in the consumer coding space. Of course, everybody has used it as a consumer, but not as coded those applications. So I would like to quickly walk all through how Google Maps for Business works. Google Maps is built, so any application that we do is built on top of the Google Maps APIs. And Google provides one of the most accurate and most comprehensive data. We all know we have been using it in our personal lives. And Google's data is also one of the most trusted. So the depth of accuracy, the depth of availability and accuracy of the information on Google Maps and Google Maps API is unparalleled. So there is no other map solution out there which comes anywhere close to it. So the way Google Maps applications works are you have the base layer, which is Google Maps data. On top of it, we can add your own data, be it your own assets, your own imagery, or data from any of your systems internally. That can be plotted on top of it. And of course, you can add third-party data. So either free third-party data like census data or information that is publicly available, that will allow you to draw better inferences in conjunction with your own data, or just as it is plotted on top of maps. Or if you want some data which can be sourced at a cost and also plotted, be it competitor data or some data like projects that are happening within that vicinity or any kind of other data. So all of these form different layers which can then be plotted on top of the base Google map, which gives a completely different perspective of how you use your particular app for driving business decisions. Google Maps provides a different way of seeing your information, and that different way is far more meaningful. Visualization is the way which adults can consume information. And so when we grow up, we use a lot of numbers and data, but as you grow up and adults generally are able to draw far better inferences from visual data. And so the same amount of data that we see on the slide, which is all textual numerical data, if that can be converted into a visual data with geographical locations, this drives a lot more insight into this information, and that allows you to take the right business decisions basis this. So it's just a different way of seeing the data, a lot more meaningful way of seeing data. So how do we use Google Maps for business? Some of the common business challenges we'll quickly walk through and try and see how they are addressed through Google Maps. One of the common challenges businesses face is how can we improve efficiency by integrating location-based intelligence into your sales and distribution channel. How do you know what areas to place your field force? How many people in the field need to be in that particular location? How best to optimize your distribution so that you're able to distribute products, services as fast as possible and at a far more deterministic way and at the most economical cost possible. So this is one of the most common challenge or question that businesses face today. The second could be how can you better organize your assets and personnel in the field, and how can you track them in real time? That could be a need for a lot of businesses to know where their field force is at any given point in time, or even to log their attendance, or even to check where their physical assets are, trucks, buses, ships, school buses, you name it. These are the kind of things that are challenge for some of the businesses. How can you ensure real-time monitoring of assets for timely deliveries? Drawing up from the earlier slide, you want to know exactly where that particular delivery truck is, and how can you how can you see all of this information on a live map in real time, and this can be managed centrally. Could be a challenge for some businesses. For some of the businesses, the challenge would be how can you streamline technicians and dispatch so that you can improve operational efficiency and improve customer satisfaction. Some businesses might want to see how can they improve efficiency by using all of this location intelligence and laying it on top of their business processes to make the right decisions. One of the major asks from any business is how can you empower your management with the required visual information so that they can drive the right business decisions that will drive your desired business growth. So data, if it can be provided in a visual manner in one centralized place, all of the data brought together, it allows management to get the right visibility from a 360-degree view and make the right business decisions for your business growth. And all of these challenges or needs can be addressed with a map. And the most common top Google Maps business use cases are the four that are split between a micro environment and macro, which is an overall environment outside of your company. In the micro environment, the first thing that you might want to know is view your buyers, sellers, employees, and delivery partners on a Google map. You might want to know where are my buyers spread out location across the globe or within a geography. Where are my distributors? Where are my delivery partners? Where are my employees? You might also want to track your assets in real time to optimize last mile delivery. You might want to find out, you get a request from ABC place, you want to find out what is the closest delivery point, or you might want to find out what is the closest vendor who can service that delivery. You might also want to make sure that you are validating addresses. Address validation is a major challenge in India, right? Unlike Western countries and Japan or Australia for that matter, we don't have a national addresses database which is standardized. And so that is also a challenge on finding the right address and matching it up with a lot of different variations that people use when they enter addresses in India. You might also want to figure out what is the best route, most optimized navigation route if your delivery guys or your sales guys want to make multiple visits during the same trip. And that functionality is inbuilt into Google Maps about route optimization. So these are the two major use cases in the micro environment. In the macro, larger scale, you might want to visualize your competition. You might want to figure out how the market factors that affect your industry are shaping up. And you might want to just plot all of this on a map to gain better strategic insights, like are my competitors better geographically located to my target customer than I am, or is there some demographic information or my external factors that affect my industry that are changing that I can start seeing on a map and drive the required business decisions. The fourth use case, which is nowadays becoming very, very, very prevalent, is this use of Google Maps for smart city solutions, or just for government or municipal corporations, either planning, maintenance, e-governance. All of these things are also now becoming a very widely tapped use case for use of Google Maps for business. So these are the four most common use cases, and this is how Google Maps addresses the things which we covered through earlier slides as challenges. We'll quickly walk through some of the common use cases. These are samples of how some of the businesses are using Google Maps. This is a telecom use case for one of the customers of Google. Uploaded their data of coverage of the telecom signal and population within a geography. So how are the customers spread across who are using specific telecom services between 4G, Edge, and 3G. And this allows also the companies to figure out the customer spread, but also to check signal strength across these areas. The next slide shows how one of the companies is placing their customers across the map to find out what are the upcoming population zones and where is the future expansion on telecom services going to happen. So you know that if these are the places that are going to get populated and the different colors and shapes the different colors of the pins also amount to the socio-economic standard of those households or their spending pattern, and basis that you can figure out where are your likely most profitable target customers going to be. And so basis that you can figure out where to provide your telecom infrastructure or where to place your sales guys. This shows, this is a plot of one of the customers or end clients, and they were able to figure out what is the right place to set up the closest distribution center to reach out to the most profitable customers basis their spread in that particular geography. A common use case by businesses is to put store locators on a map, or maybe banks and insurance companies. They want to showcase to customer where all their branches are, where all the ATM machines are, and so route them to the closest location of the bank branch or the ATM. And this might be an use case for quite a few of the companies to take the geographical location of their different offices, branches, and show it on a map. The other is location tagging, right? People want to bring a lot more visibility to your location. Maybe you might want to add pictures. You might want to give more information about who's the branch manager, or if this is an office, then what are the different departments which work out of this office, a telephone number of that office, and then show it on a map. So when people click on that pin, they get all of this information. So that's basically adding additional information through that tag. And the same added on to it, you can also add a bunch of text to weave a better story through improved visualization on a map. Local discovery is nowadays becoming a major use case, which is companies want to stand apart from their competitors by showing up their company profile of when somebody is near that particular location. So one is you place your business on the map and you provide all the information, but also when people download your app and you identify that that person is within vicinity, let's say within 5 kilometers of your store X, then you might want to push a notification saying that, hey, did you know store X is just ABC is 5 kilometers from here, and they are serving these 5 things, and they are running a 10% discount this week. So these kind of push notifications are also being driven through these apps that are built around local discovery. The other is Google Maps is extensively used in the travel industry. So people can plan their travel in advance, discover what places they want to visit, even see images of those places in advance, and plan their entire travel by almost virtually visiting that place before they reach there. You can also show other information as to availability of the hotels, restaurants, or points of interest within that vicinity, directions to those places, or even the price points across, putting it all on a map. That was around travel industry. The other is around asset tracking, mostly around fleet tracking. So this is a very common use case with the Ubers and Olas and Lyfts and Grabs of the world, where people want to keep a track of their fleet in real time. And even you can set up geofences if you want to get a notification when your delivery truck reaches your warehouse, or when your school bus reaches the school zone and want to notify the parents that the kid has reached the school, or the kid is going to reach its drop-off point for you to pick them up within the next 10 minutes. So setting up geofences is also a built-in functionality within Google Maps that you can set up. Location tracking is a common use case. If you want to track that particular location of an individual that is moving or an asset that is moving, it can be shared with multiple people and they can see it in real time how that asset is moving. Same with location sharing. This is what we use when individuals want to share that location with multiple people. So I'm going to quickly take a pause. That was the typical industry use cases. Most common across all industries, but now we will also talk about specific functional use cases. I will quickly pause to see if there's a lot of information, and the idea is to give you some time to ponder, think about which of this is applicable to you. And if you guys might have questions, I will quickly pause so that you can type in your questions onto the URL that is shared at the top. And then I will move on to the next section, which talks about use cases by industry and functional applications. Cool. So we will go ahead and get started. I see a couple of people typing in questions, so please continue. One of the most common use cases is in sales and marketing. For sales and marketing, you can use a lot of your own company data to identify what are the things that are working for you, which geographical area is giving you the maximum revenue, and then you can use the attributes of that area, right? Is it closest to my delivery centers, or is it a certain socioeconomic group, or are there other reasons which are driving that demand? And then you can try and see if you can mimic that in other areas, or try and figure out if these same attributes you are able to identify other potential growth markets for you as well. You can also run statistical analysis on your sales data or your outreach data, and then basis that figure out what kind of statistical and marketing analysis needs to be run in different areas. So sales and marketing has a great benefit of higher acceptability and traction and conversion when it's tied up with the location intelligence. Mobile workforce management is another use case. We have alluded to it before. Quite a few companies have a mobile workforce, be it either salespeople in the field, or be it the PROs for medical organizations or for the pharmaceutical organizations, or be it field engineers for telecom companies who are going into the field for working on towers. So if you want to, one is manage the dispatch depending on where the need is or where the customer requests are coming from. Your dispatch can be managed much better because you can check who is in the proximity, who can serve that service that order. Now, and also you can optimize those routes, and you can ahead of time, if you have multiple requests, you can customize the scheduling basis, the distance and duration it will take for those people to complete each of those runs. So all of this will substantially improve the maintenance, customer satisfaction, but also allow you to track your mobile field force. For construction planning, Google Maps allows you, Google Map can, on top of Google Map, quite a few of the customers have started integrating data from local government bodies around zoning, around construction projects coming around it. And so that allows, and residential area markings and zoning and everything. That is something that is useful for construction companies to make sure they are compliant with the regulations, and also figuring out what are the best places to set up, let's say, parks, to set up hospitals, and other construction activities. So this is also an additional use case for Google Maps. Governments have been extensively using Google Maps, be it utilities knowing where to lay the cables for digital connectivity in rural India, or for that matter, where are all the gas pipelines running underground, and also for a lot of public works, right? Where emergency services wants to know what are the likely affected areas when there is an epidemic, depending on population concentration and people's socioeconomic group, to figure out what is the likely area where there is going to be the largest spread, and so where to place those mobile clinics, or where to make the availability of medicines for these for making sure that these kind of issues get addressed. So this is some of the things, or even for stationing emergency vehicles in case of, let's say, there is a medical emergency, or if there is a natural disaster, and you know that there are certain areas within the city which are low-lying areas, and if there is a lot of rain, these are the areas which are going to get submerged first, and these are the areas which are going to need the first evacuators' help immediately. So these kind of things government is now using maps for, and Google is ongoingly working with a lot of municipal corporations within India for government related use cases. One of the most asked for use case nowadays is that the government of India is going to make it mandatory for all public transportation to be tracked from 1st of April 2018. So all the public transportations, trucks, autos, and vehicles plying as taxis on the roads are going to be tracked and will need to be shown on a map for public safety. So for that, Google Maps is a fantastic application that can be leveraged by either companies like yours who are working with the government to do it, or directly by the government to implement this. So we are seeing quite a few of queries coming in, and we are already working with a couple of municipal corporations to do this. Banking, finance, and insurance is another industry where Google Maps has been extensively used across the globe, but by some of the top insurance providers and banks in India as well. The general use case is to do KYC, so customers fill out information, and then the branch sales guy goes and validates that information by going to that location, and when they take a picture at that location or submit a form, it's geotagged. So the customer's location is captured, just to make that is a validation that this person has validated the address by visiting that address. Or if customers come in and fill their forms online, or then you want to route them to the closest branch, so that that account is created in the closest branch. So that is an internal application for the banks and NBFCs to map all their locations or all their branch locations, and route the customers for account creation in the right branches. Insurance companies, a lot of motor insurance companies are. One is insurance companies are using geographical data to figure out what premiums they need to offer for, let's say, home insurance, depending on if that place is low-lying, or what is the history of earthquake in that area, or basically location-related information, which allows them to make use of some of those data points to determine insurance premiums. Motor vehicle insurance companies are also providing roadside assistance. For that, they are extensively using Google Maps. They have a list of empaneled vendors. And so if somebody has a vehicle breakdown, they log into the app and say, my vehicle is broken down, that location is tracked. The insurance company then figures out which is the closest vendor who can then go and service. And then once the customer can see where the service provider is, who is going to come and help them get to solve their breakdown issue. they can track that service vehicle on the map and then post this as addressed. Then the insurance company also is able to pay that vehicle which service that breakdown, taking into account the Google Maps directions and distance they traveled and the time taken, all of that. So these are some of the common use cases. Manufacturing companies use Google Maps extensively to figure out, one is to visualize where their manufacturing plants are, also where their raw material suppliers are, how their operations teams are spread across. And because for a lot of manufacturing companies, the movement of raw materials and movement of finished goods from the factory floor is one of the biggest costs, sometimes 20 to 30%, and time is of a lot of essence to them. And Google Maps allows them to address all of these things, which is to be able to know how best to optimize the routes so that your movement of raw materials to the factory and finished goods from the factory to either dealership or the customers can be done as fast as possible. Travel and hospitality, we have covered a couple of use cases before, so I'm not going to spend more time on this. So these are some of the common business use cases of top industries: manufacturing, banking, finance, school buses, vehicle tracking, insurance companies, telecom for coverage, capture, also for field force that goes and maintains the infrastructure for telecom companies. Logistics and transportation is the biggest use case, so moving vehicles or trucks, ships, and cab and delivery aggregators. So these cab aggregator platforms, we have already built an application that we'll show you, which is an Uber kind of application. If anybody is trying to build a platform for any kind of vehicle, be it moving farm produce directly from the farmers to people who want to request it from their houses for organic food, or for people who are trying to build in a platform just for autos in the city of Guwahati, or for somebody who is trying to build just a delivery service with females only in the city of Jaipur. These kind of use cases for which we have already built a couple of applications that we'll share in the next section. So this is an asset tracking application that we have built. I will quickly share. So this is a GIS product that we have built for demo purposes for our customers to see how to use Google Maps. So for asset tracking, currently these are the 4 vehicles we are tracking. You can very easily track assets, any types, be it bus, trucks, or even field force. If you have an application that you can get downloaded onto their mobile phones, and as long as it has data enabled on it, you can track their movement in the field. So you can see this vehicle, I think one of them is moving. This one is moving. You can see it drops the breadcrumb as to what point in time where it was, and you can see it in real time. You can click on the vehicle. You can also get information about who's the driver, the vehicle number, his phone number, and so on. Similarly, for this asset tracking, we have quite a few of these reports that we can build on top of this. So if you want to see a daily report of that particular, of all the assets. So this was in the month of July. We had about 12 assets that we were tracking, which were vehicles. So we could see who were the drivers, how many jobs did they complete that day, what was the average speed, which city they were in, what was the distance that they traveled, and how many times did they turn the vehicle on and off. So all of this can be tracked. You can put some intelligence of if you stop for more than 10 minutes, the vehicle is off, so on. You can also do an individual vehicle tracking. So this was one vehicle throughout the day. You want to keep a track of when did it start, when did it take its first stop, how much distance did it travel, what was the closest landmark, what was the total distance traveled for the day. So you can get all these kind of informations out of your Google Maps asset tracking application. We are also able to build geofences to make sure that we can track people, how many times they are within the geofence or outside of the geofence. So this is an application on which, for those same vehicles that we showed in the first report, we have set up geofences because those were the warehouses where we wanted them to deliver the products to. So there were 6 geofences assigned to this first vehicle and 3 to the last. And you can see how many times did these guys got inside, in and out of that geofence. These vehicles, for some of these, we also had an on the dashboard device that we had connected to keep track if the AC is on or off, because some of these had food products that were being moved. So we wanted to check if the chiller was on or off. So these kind of things can very easily be tracked through Google Maps. Google Maps also does route optimization for you, which is inbuilt. So if I want to just say, track or move from one city to another, and I just have 2 or 3 drops that I want to make on the way, I can select those and get the most optimized route basis the waypoints I selected. So it will Google Maps API is built in. It will automatically tell you this, your Route 1 segment, you need to move from Pune Airport to segment 1 is from Pune Airport to Sholapur and 257 kilometers. Segment 2 is, let's say, Sholapur to Kolhapur and so on. So this, if I were moving from Pune to Bangalore, but I wanted to make 3-4 deliveries on the way, it will automatically optimize that route. This is intracity. This is intracity. You can also do it in intercity, within the city, multiple drop locations that you want to do. So these are some of the things that Google Maps allows you to do fairly easily. This is built into it. That's a demo application that we have built. We have also built a complete transportation management system. So this is an app that we have built by ourselves. So this we can provide directly to the end customer. Or we can white label it and sell it to whoever wants it. This is built on top of Google Maps. So this is an asset tracking application similar to an Ola or Uber. So you have, this can be used either for B2C or B2B. If you are doing a company transportation, you can have a list of drivers who are empaneled with the company. You can have all your employees download the app, and then basis when they place their request, it will automatically club some people together basis the route they are taking, and then assign a vehicle. Similarly, this vehicle routing can also be done for deliveries. If you want to pick up multiple deliveries from one city, let's say Bangalore, you want to pick up deliveries and then deliver it to Chennai at one location or multiple location, the same app can be used. It's an exact Uber application. It allows you to onboard the different service providers. It provides you an app for customers to download. It allows you to set different cost structure basis the kind of load, or basis the distance traveled, or basis the category of the vehicle, or depending on how many stops you have to make, or all of these things. And it allows you to customize these things, and it will then create the auto route and auto billing and everything. So this is a completely plug and play package that can be very easily used up. A lot of travel agents are also using this. Travel agents, when they are booking nowadays, let's say if I want to go from here to Ladakh, and these travel agents get my itinerary done, but in Ladakh also, they will have a list of panel vendors who will then provide transportation services. They are able to club the number of requests of people who are going to land into the Leh airport that day, and then figure out who does this need to be routed to, and they provide me as a complete package from my travel agent. This is just a little more of what I just explained. So in terms of the product allows you to manage, it gives you a manage function, it gives you a promote and a distribute function. For managing, it covers all your backend, how best to manage the user side and your vendor side, and how you will do an automated matching and dispatching and different kinds of services or packages, different rates that you can set up. And for promotion, it has a built-in CMS. You can do campaign management. It allows you to enter promo codes and does promo code management as well. And it's something that is very easy to use, so the distribution piece has very easy to plug and play into any of your existing apps. We have easy to integrate APIs that we will open up, and then it can plug into any of your ERP systems. So this is what the application provides. This is just a snapshot of how it would look like. This is one that at the top is the traveler mobile app, and at the bottom is the driver mobile app. You select your trip, time, date, location, all of this, and then the driver gets it. You have a driver assignment. Either you do it manually or set up an algorithm like Uber does and automatically pick up the closest person for that right size of vehicle. So these are the things which are already built into this app that we have built, that we can share with other customers if they want to use this app. There are quite a few customers who are trying to build these apps. We can help them just sell the license, or if they don't want to go through the entire hassle, we can just give them this product as a whole. It also has a web-based backend panel, which allows you to do the entire management of this application. Very easy to use, very easily configurable as well, and has an end-to-end management. There is almost no manual work that is required from any company who wants to use this app. The other application that we have built is targeted just around logistics companies. For logistics companies, they want to track their vehicles. They want to track what vehicle is at what point. So in this case, you can see that we are tracking about 300 vehicles, 51 of them are moving, 21 are idling, and then rest of them are stationary. How many of them are on trip? Total fleet utilization. We can check the speeding violations. We can set up speeds. All of this information is collected on this app that we have built. You can also on the right-hand side see the notification where that vehicle is at any point in time. So these are notifications as of yesterday afternoon where these vehicles were. You can track any given vehicle in real time as well. So you can, from the drop down, pick one vehicle, one truck, and see where it is, what is the name of the driver, what speed it's traveling. This is similar to the demo I showed you, but this is a real one and just a snapshot of something which was on the road yesterday. You can also see a minute level detail like I showed you on the demo of where that particular vehicle has gone through during the day. You can export all of this information into Excel for you to run some analytics on top of it for future, like are these the best routes that are taken, or is this the driver who always takes a different route than what is recommended or stops at the same place every day whenever he goes. So these kind of information you can draw out of analytics, and so all of this information that is collected can be exported into Excel or any of your file formats and run some analytics models on top of it. You can also set up geofences. This is an actual one that we have set up, and whenever the person enters that particular terminal, you can push a notification to the agency over there that your vehicle has reached, or if it's a delivery, you can let the customer know their package has been delivered to the desired location. Apart from this, in this asset tracking application, we also plug in a lot of information as to what is the fuel efficiency, like how many gallons, liters of fuel was filled, and then how much distance does this guy travel till the next filling, and you can plug that information in. You can also plug other information in as to how many times did the vehicle go in for maintenance, what was the bill, how many times did the tires get changed. So you can then use all of that information and draw analytics, run analytics and draw inferences as to which of the vehicles are the most efficient, their cost of ownership, total cost of ownership, how much money is being spent every year on tires, or which are the routes which cause more expenses to you in terms of either maintenance, in terms of if there is a vehicle which always plies on the same roads, you can know that the wearing and tearing of either the tires or the wearing and tearing causing the maintenance is more on these kind of roads. So maybe that these kind of the roads where you need to charge differently or maybe charge more so that it still remains profitable to you. So these are the things that you can draw on top of this application that we have built. We also have a personnel tracking application that we have built. This is an Android and iOS app that we provide, which can be downloaded from the Apple Store or from the Google Marketplace. And once people enable that on their phone and give you the access to track them, you can track them in real time. And visualize where your team members are. You can also set up geolocations, geofencing around the office location so that when they reach the office vicinity, automatically you log them in, or if they are in the field and you know that they are supposed to visit XYZ places, you can log them once they reach those places and mark their attendance. And it's tightly integrated into Google Suite, and also can be integrated into an HRMS system. So you know who this person reports to, and so those people can see their direct reports being tracked and not anybody else. They can also send push notification to the managers depending on if this person has gone to the desired location or not, and so on and so forth. And you can run quite a bit of analytics on top of it, which includes attendance analytics, late in or early out, total regularization requests, so on and so forth. This is a sample of somebody that we were tracking, and you can see what all locations has that person gone to. So this is more of a personnel tracking that you can do on a mobile phone. That is, of course, the employer has to okay it and post that the company can do this. The other use case that is extensively used nowadays is around heat maps. So we've built heat maps for quite a few of customers. This is the one that we built for a real estate company that wanted to know the concentration of construction activity in India over the next 10 years. So this is data that we collected from government sources as to where the construction projects are, where permissions have been sought, and how many projects and the duration when these are going to get completed. So that allows us to draw heat maps so companies can figure out where do they need to place their cement manufacturing plant or the steel or iron dealership, so on and so forth. This is data, again, another heat map in the city of Mumbai. This was for the different geographical locations. This is SEC data, socioeconomic data of households, and a number of households in each of this region who are beyond a certain income level. So this is what we plotted for one of the vendors to figure out where do they need to set up a store, which is in a high-end luxury brand. So this kind of data can also be plotted on top of heat maps, which allows you to drive the right business decisions. So hopefully we've given you a glimpse of some of the solutions that we have built already for customers. There is also a smart city solution that we have been working on with a couple of municipal corporations to do smart traffic management, urban planning, and how to improve public services. This is also something, if any of you is working with a government agency or is from a government agency and you want to figure out how best to leverage Google Maps, we can help with that. There is an address validation application we have built, which is very useful in India because a lot of addresses are non-standardized. We run some analytics on, we run some logic and used past analytic data to figure out if the data needs to be cleansed. And so this is the entered address by the customer in column 1. And we take the data from Google Maps, validate it, and then break it into parts, and then cleanse and standardize it and provide the right latitude and longitude. It's not 100% accurate, but for most customers, we get upwards of 80% accuracy, which is probably the best we could probably get around in the Indian addresses. This immensely helps, this address validation piece reduces your shipment errors and your delayed deliveries or returns that you have to do because the customer couldn't be reached. So that is an additional service that we provide. Some of the recent client deployments, I think we are just about 8 minutes, so I'm going to run a little fast, so we still have some time for Q&A. We have done an implementation for a company that tracks school buses in India, and it is about tracking the vehicle in real time, setting up geofences, and letting the parents know the bus has reached the school, or giving them, showing them in real time where the bus is when it leaves the school, because it's left the geofence. They get a notification, they can see it on the map, and they can also get an alert when the kid is about to get dropped. There is an home rental company very well known in India with whom we are working to plot where the facility, where the locations are which are available to rent, and then when people want to rent a place, we provide them directions, and that company also is able to allocate a salesperson closest to that particular customer location, looking at their map location, who can accompany them to see that particular location. There is an online food delivery company we are working with who has a fantastic delivery track record because they are using Google Maps. They use the most optimized route and are able to get very high customer satisfaction by, one, showing the customer exactly how long it's going to take for their delivery to reach, and for their delivery guys to use the shortest route possible to provide the deliveries in the required ETA. You're also an hyperlocal concierge service where people request some kind of work being done either in their household, some plumbing issue or some small household things that require support. These are then collected on Google, customer locations are collected on Google Maps, and this company then sends that service provider to address that issue within a very fixed time. And once the job is completed, they notify back to the company this is. And all of this happens digitally. Nobody moves from the office because these are empaneled service providers who just get a request and go and service that request with the end customer. So that in a nutshell gives you a glimpse of one, we talked about Sears, we talked about why Google Maps for Business and how it works. So the most common business use cases, walked you through a couple of intellectual property applications that we as a company have built on top of Google Maps, and also shared with you some of the recent use cases where we have helped implement Google Maps to drive substantial business benefits to these companies. And lastly, we would love to work with you guys for any of you who is planning on using Google Maps, or even if you want us to help you figure out how best to leverage Google Maps to get your desired business outcome. And we would want you to go with Sears because one, we are a very trusted name in the cloud ecosystem and a highly rated Google partner. We also provide consulting services around Google Maps to understand how best Google Maps can be leveraged, looking at market trends and your business needs. help you figure out what is the right license, and through the deployment we handhold. And then we also provide services to post deployment to make sure that you are not double billed, you are using the application the right way. And of course, we are an end-to-end service provider. Everything that is on Google can be done by one company, which is us. So you don't have to work with multiple vendors if you're using any of these products. And our major differentiators are we have a deep domain expertise in the areas that we mentioned, which is logistics, transportation, be it delivery, telecom, finance, manufacturing, independent software vendors, a lot of people who build applications, and of course nowadays with government and the smart cities initiative. We have a long experience of 12+ years. We've been around for long. We are not a company which is just here and might shut down tomorrow. Our billing is very simple, clear, and transparent, and of course we are very trustworthy, and we work as an end-to-end solution provider. So you don't have to worry about whatever your issues, challenges are. One company can come in and help you end-to-end. So that is why CS stands out as compared to other providers of these services. So that is the last slide. I'm just going to park and see if we can quickly go to the questions. And for now, we don't really have much time. So what we are going to do is whatever we can in the next 2 to 3 minutes, just to be cognizant of your time, we'll just take 1 or 2 questions. And of course, others who we may not have addressed the questions, or people who want to reach out to us to schedule a follow-up demo or a detailed discussion or a customized demo around your specific needs, we will be very, very glad to do that. So I'm just going to quickly pause and urge you to ideate and think about how Google Maps can help you in addressing your business needs. And we are here. So whenever you are ready to futurify, whenever you are ready to take your digital transformation step, and whenever you feel that you want to know more about Google Maps or want to figure out how best Google Maps can be leveraged, we are here to help you guys. Quick question. I'm going to take, probably just have 1 minute, so I'll just take 1 question. And the question that seems at the top of the table is how Google Maps can help. It is from Mitesh Jagawat. How Google Maps can help me for my online website. It is an e-commerce website. That is the question. So for e-commerce, there are a couple of things that you can do for an e-commerce website. One is customer information. You want to make sure, so generally e-commerce website would work where you would have a list of vendors who are providing, you're a marketplace, so you will have vendors who are providing products that you would want to sell through your site. So the first thing that Google Maps could help is to position your partners on the map wherever their dealerships or closest supplier network is. So you can then place them on the map. Second is then once your customers start requesting products, the best thing for you to do is drop shipment, where you don't maintain a stock but have these product providers directly ship it to your end customers. Because for e-commerce companies, you can't keep a stock. It is a drain on your cost. So you can then figure out which provider is where on the map, and looking at customers' location, you can patch them up with the closest vendor, and then you can give the ETA basis looking at their distance from the map. So you can map the closest one so that the product gets shipped out as fast as possible and reaches the customer fast. The other thing you can also do is the tracking of that particular product while it's in shipping, while it's moving, it is being delivered. So if it's within the city, you can easily track using that app that can be downloaded from Google Store from the Google Play Store and giving it to the delivery guys. So even the customer can see when that delivery guy is going to reach them and where they are. And if it's between one city to other, it can be given to any of the transportation vehicles where you are moving your products in bulk. So these are the two things that can be done in real time. In non-real time, you can do quite a bit of things. All of this information can be tagged along with your geographic information, and you can plot on a map where do you get most of your demand to your site geographically. And then you can say, hey, I see all of my requests are coming from Bangalore suburbs or maybe Mysore. And so you can run a lot more advertisement and marketing and of your particular platform or products in Bangalore, Mysore, because there, any which ways you're getting good traction. Maybe you can expand that further, or you know that you're getting traction in Bangalore, but most of your suppliers are in Chennai. So maybe you need to do more marketing in Chennai so that you start getting more of these requests from Chennai, and it becomes more cost effective to service those requests directly from Chennai. So these are some of the things that come top of my mind. One is placing your suppliers, placing your customers, matching them up best, and then delivery tracking while it's in either before it gets shipped or while it's in delivery shipment. So these are the things how you can address. We have quickly run over time. I just want to take a quick pause and see if Jake wants to add anything to this. But I think we are covered from my side.
Good. All good. Thank you, Fabian.
Cool. Thank you. So we are just to be respectful of your time, we are at the end of this webinar. Thanks a lot to all of you who have attended. I know we had a lot of information to cover, and so we probably didn't have enough time to answer all the questions that you guys have. But we are more than happy to address that one-on-one. You can either drop us an email on the request that you have received for the webinar, or if any of you is interested in a follow-up one-on-one demo or want to understand more about Google Maps, please send a request on that email and we will connect with you and take it forward from there. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day, all of you.